20 hours later, I'm pulling in the driveway in Texas because when a major event happens, we will only have 24 hours before government begins to react. And when government reacts, I want to be in the state of Texas on its own power grid, close to the refineries at Midland, where there still may be product available to fill the gas tank up and get the rest of the way across 800 miles of the greatest state in the country. No longer the biggest, but certainly one of the best. and get back to the ranch.
Yeah, exactly. And you are right.
And does that make me paranoid? I don't think so. I think anybody, I think anybody who can watch 30 minutes of coverage of a press conference of a runaway bride, probably, and take Prozac, may have more serious mental issues than a guy with a master's in business who can read about derivatives and knows enough to read the Federal Reserve's number and listen to Warren Buffett.
I think you're absolutely right.
I'm just speculating on that, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, just a wee bit.
Just as a wild-ass guess.
Somebody just wrote in, and I love the comment. He said, what if these idiots split Comet Temple 1 with the impactor, which we're going to do, and the pieces, one or more, hits Earth? And then his last comment is, 8-ball in the corner pocket.
Well, there's actually two issues there. One is, what are the odds of it hitting Earth? And the answer is, I don't know. I'm not a geophysicist. I'm just a paranoid guy who keeps 1 foot in the money and 1 foot in the exit. Mm-hmm. Jim McCanney, I think, has got some interesting ideas on that. If you go over to jimmccanny.com, I think he mentions the possibility, because it's happening so close to the peak of the return sheath of the Earth's electrical connection with the sun,
right,
that we actually could have unexpected stuff occur at an interplanetary level, and I defer to Mr. McCanney in his years of study and expertise on that. But what do I think? I don't know. I think 2,200 calories a day for a year and a half is probably about the right kind of food supply to have.
Yeah, well, I'm with you, George. Let me tell you, I am with you.
Yeah, I mean, you and Pollock are pretty reasonable guys. It doesn't mean we are immune from anything, or it doesn't mean that we can't be struck down just like any other human.
Yeah.
But chance favors the prepared mind, and just the fact that you have listened to Alex and I rag on this stuff for as long as we have been here this evening says that you at least at some level find it kind of curious that there are so many people watching the Jackson trial and the Runaway Bride and think that that's the news. And I have this horrible shock for you, because when you strip away all the crap, the real stuff is the stuff that you are, and that's what urbansurvival.com is all about. It's about the economic stuff that you're not supposed to really think about. The U.S. Geological Survey has a study out that says, and it's been in the public domain for 3-4 years. It says if the West Antarctic ice shelf drops off due to global warming, or just because of shifting or centrifugal force or whatever, we could have a rise of sea level of, I think it's 18 or 24 feet. Doesn't sound so bad, does it?
Unless you live on the coast.
Like all the people of Bangladesh and India's southern half. All the people at Baytown that make our gasoline that goes up the all the people that used to live in New Orleans before they became full-time swimmers or drowners.
Or Florida. What's the highest elevation in the lower 2/3 of the state of Florida? Actually,
it's a garbage dump and I mean this, it's a landfill.
Sure.
That's about 150, 200 feet high, and it's south of Boca Raton, and then there's another one up the freeway, about another, I want to say 40 or 50 miles north of Boca. So yeah, I mean, those are your high points. And what does that tell you when the high point of a country is a garbage dump?
that you better look for a place to go to if you hear a big wave is coming in.
Well, and that's why Cliff built his Umiak, and that's why I've got the ranch thing. First of all, it's a great mental exercise. It's kind of like you were active as a kid. Did you get how do I say this? Did you get marched almost at gunpoint by your parents to go to Cub Scouts?
No, interestingly enough, I was a Cub Scout for a while, but we moved around so often that I didn't stay in the Cub Scouts more than, I think, a tenderfoot or whatever the next badge.
Yeah, that's about as far as I got. But remember how cool the Cub Scout manual was?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, picture the grown-up version of the Cub Scout manual. And that's what this kind of thinking is about.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, in the trunk of my car, our little Daewoo, in the trunk of my car, I've got two very well-equipped backpacks. Mm-hmm. They have tents. They have 4 gallons of water. I mean, these suckers are 80 pounds when when you get it out. You don't want to be holding it for too long unless you put it on. But it's got the padded butt support, sure, and well padded shoulders,
right,
and literally these are our grab and goes, and they've got batteries and GPS and the coordinates of the Texas ranch and so forth, such that in a worst case situation, we could actually make a stab at going to Texas
by walking or however.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of days would be miserable, but you know, and I carry enough weight so that I wouldn't push myself into a heart attack the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But quite honestly, some vitamins, some aspirin, and some MREs and a bunch of water, we could easily make 100-mile, 200-mile kind of runs. And if we get halfway to Phoenix, we could certainly make it the rest of the way.
Do you foresee, George, one of these events happening, and then immediately we go into martial law?
Oh, sure.
Well, martial law, see, that's the bad thing. Martial law cuts off all communication, all travel. You're basically locked down at that point until the government decides, to take whoever they're going to take and bring them wherever they want to bring them. But if we reach a level of martial law, everybody better be ready for the long haul at that point.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Now I believe that, and this is only a belief, but I believe that, and this is something that has come up in the WebBot, the whole notion of restrictions on travel, but the restrictions on travel have really related more to restrictions on exchange in the market and restrictions on trading.
That's right.
So when you talk about restrictions on travel, I go to restrictions on the travel of money. But in answer to the specific question, what do I think about martial law? Yeah. I think that the government would have an incredibly difficult time enforcing martial law for more than a 24 or 48-hour period.
I'd like to think you were right, George, but I don't know.
I believe that what you'll see is that people will be told to return to their homes.
Yeah.
You think they will?
Oh, most definitely, and then stay in their homes until they're allowed to go out.
That's right. But now take me for example, because that's the guy I worry about. My job is to worry about him specifically. I'm in California, and I have my Texas car and my Texas driver's license, and my wife has her Texas driver's license, and we tell people the truth. We were just here for a very short time, visiting, and now we're going back to Texas where we live. Wow. Now, am I going to be allowed to go back to Texas? That's the question I ask myself.
That's a good question too.
Well, and the answer is as soon as there is an event. I mean, God forbid something happened like a blue flash over Chicago.
Right.
Okay, I would get in the car and would not stop driving until I got home, and home being the ranch. It would take me 24 hours.
Non-stop, if you could get gas.
Oh, gas isn't going to be shut off by an event like that.
Okay, all right.
And I always carry just enough cash to be able to get gas, paying cash if see, one of the ways people can turn off commerce is just turn off bank machines.
That's right, sure.
So the answer is hot. As soon as anything really, really, really bad happens, I will call my colleagues from the car someplace east of Phoenix at 80 miles an hour and advise them that, I understand they're going to be closing down freeways and see turning off the freeways in Los Angeles. if there was a big thing that happened, let's say Chicago, it would take probably 5 hours to respond and get the word out to state troopers, state patrolmen, and so forth.
You think it would take that long?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, because look at all the roads that would have to be covered, the plans that would have to go into effect, and the National Guard is off busy fighting Syria. I'm sorry, insurgents on the western side of Iraq. Insurgents on the western side of Iraq.
You got that.
Okay.
Subtle, George. Subtle, but yeah.
So the question is, what is your window to exit? And remember all the communications equipment in the car?
Yeah.
Guess who has the VHF and the UHF scanner frequencies in the car?
I'll be darned. That's good.
Yeah, you see.
No.
There's many ways that a fellow can be prepared to at least get back to his home base.
Don't you think, George, also that in pockets around the country, in little communities, if small little towns like my little town here of Pecos, if we got together as a group and we grew food and we had kept different supplies, because with a community of like-thinking people, you have security, protection, and help.
Yep. Yeah, and that's why we love rural East Texas, because they're fine, God-fearing, upstanding, honest people. And if your wife has a flat tire at the side of the road in Texas, I would much rather she have a flat tire on the side of the road in Texas where there isn't but 20 people around for 2 miles than she has a flat tire on Interstate 5, 2 X's from Compton in L.A.
Yeah, or, well, I better not say. But yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, the honest core people of America at some point will look at martial law and go, no, we don't need this. And we're not going to be able to keep people locked up in their homes forever. People have to go out, they have to go to work, they have to get around, and it's either in that period right then or the period after the roads open up for a while. And Elaine and I both carry our passports. Yes, we can prove who we are.
Okay, that's it.